people get married, we have one that is shapapa, we have one. If you see any couple that they are similar, you know that it's not good our dream thing. So in every couple, you see one that is extrovert, you see that one that is introvert, you see one that likes to study, you see one that does not like to study, and you see the one that likes semi like that. So if you're a woman and you're watching this, right, and your husband wants to migrate, and you be like, oh, don't worry, come and pick you later. Magba, especially to what be more fun, to what be more magba. If you guys cannot jump back together, tell them, please let's sit down and be looking at each other like this. Who better? Warati, kini better do kini. Sometimes it's not even the man's fault. It's not as if maybe the man in travel abroad to say this is what I want to do. But when you pay circumstance, I think it's not me giving excuse for bad behavior, right? But looking at it again from another point of immigration point of view is if you're going to separate, make sure that you're going to a country that their immigration rules is not that volatile, right? It's not that they'll just wake up and be killer today so coffee shake you more. And there's some countries like that, like for example, if you plan on going first before bringing your spouse, there's some countries that will be like, please don't near that country, because as you enter they can wake up and say, let's trigger them small. You people should not. Some countries, they just enjoy it like that. Whereas there are some countries that they still have history of immigration stability, like their immigration policy is more stable than the other. So if you want to make such plans, or if there's any country that you feel like I did not mention or I left out, make sure you leave it in the description box. I cannot wait to read from you, and I'm sure that my viewers as well cannot wait to read from you. So guys, hey guys, welcome back again to another video that you've been expecting or thinking about. So guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking about 2025 list of countries that you can actually move abroad and study with your family. You guys can see all the immigration news and changes and update like that. So me talking about this country is more like a way of me telling you guys the updates regarding moving with family, right? Regarding moving with family about no, let me rephrase. So me talking about, me making this video is me trying to tell you guys updates regarding these countries. Regarding this, me talking about this country is me talking about the immigration updates of these countries regarding moving with family. Yeah, I feel like it's correct that way. Yeah, English will not scatter our head. Anyways, so in this particular video I'm going to take you guys through countries that they have, like, you can still move with family, they have restricted road, they don't have restricted road. So depending on your pocket, depending on your distance, you shall find one, right, and pick inside, right? Yeah, depending. So the thing is, this is not exclusive list. This one I'm just talking about countries that they are more popular, that people is used to go, right? And there are some that they are not so popular that you guys don't think about. Anyways, let's dive right into the video. So as usual, I'll say no particular order, but no, let's say particular order. So the first on my list is here. And so me talking about this is because all the clients I've had in the past for consultation, they just talk about moving with family, everyone wants to move with their family and all of that. In as much as me as the client, like, if you don't have the money, if you cannot afford it, you should go first. But when I see how, maybe for example, your husband can say, okay, let me go first, or wife can say, let me go first, and then imagine them going first in the hope that maybe after 1 year I'm going to come and pick my wife and my kids, and then in that duration of, before you say let me use that 1 year, immigration don't change rule, and then you are stuck abroad, your wife is stuck where she is, you cannot come back, she cannot come and meet you. I know things like that actually used to scatter marriage, right? And I've read stories like that. So in other times, you feel like, oh, let somebody go first, let somebody go first. But see, if your family your family, your marriage is not that strong, it might not be able to hold the test of time. And sometimes most of these men, they actually resort to doing things just to get, like, legalize their stay. There was even a story that I read I think that was even what prompted me to make this type of video. So if you're a woman and you're watching this, right, and your husband wants to migrate, and you be like, oh, don't worry, I'll come and pick you later. Magba, I don't know, Sha. I don't, but me, from my own, this thing, Magba, especially to what to be more fun, to what to be more Magba. If you guys cannot jump back together, tell them, please let's sit down and be looking at each other like this. Who better? Warati, kini, who better do kini? So I've been seeing so many stories. Sometimes it's not even the man's fault. It's not as if maybe the man in travel abroad to say this is what I want to do. But when you pay circumstance, I think it's not me giving excuse for bad behavior, right? But looking at it again from another point of immigration point of view, because the plan is let me just stay 1 year. After 1 year, when I raise money, I will bring you guys. But before the 1 year, they brought in the immigration policy. I know somebody that is already abroad and enjoying life. We are my bonly, my lady. Yeah. So me, I'm just saying. So if you know that your marriage is not that strong enough, like feel like it's not that strong enough, and especially all this holomoyo that people, before you enter marriage like this, you are born like this, you are born like this. The fact that very fact people is good, but all advantage, only disadvantage. Just like this, you see. But that can't be more, right? So that you raise your kids, you know you are done with childbirth once. But all this relocation stuff, that's when you now feel like, I wish I had just born one. I just be looking at that one, right? So everything has their pros, everything has their cons, so depending. So that was what actually gingered me to make this type of video. But usually, in the stories I've read, right, it's always the men that is always doing all those things. Rarely would you actually slay a woman, especially if she has kids, to just forget about her child like that. Is very, very rare. It's very, but this is not me saying it does not happen, no. But you are lower, you know, lower, baby. But I'm just saying, if you guys are gonna separate and leave each other, make sure that the love bond between both of you is extremely strong. And that thing again is, if you're going to separate, make sure that you're going to a country that their immigration rules is not that volatile, right? It's not that they'll just wake up and be killer today is so coffee shake you one. And there's some countries like that, like for example, if you plan on going first before bringing your spouse, there's some countries that are like, please don't near that country, because as you enter they can wake up and say, let's trigger them small. You people should not. Some countries, they just enjoy it like that. Whereas there are some countries that they still have history of immigration stability, like their immigration policy is more stable than the other. So if you want to make such plans, make sure you're making it with countries that you understand. And what are those countries that have stable immigration rules? I'm going to make it in my other videos. Countries with more stable immigration policies. That's how I used to get topic inspiration. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about countries you can actually migrate with your family through study route, and you can work and study. Previously I made a video about 15 realistic ways you can actually move outside the country, right? And one of these I mentioned was study route. So whether I would like it or not, study route is one of the best and fastest and easiest routes for you to actually leave your home country and relocate permanently, right? So for all those 15 options I've made mention, if not in the video, I'll put in the link in my description box. You see Jackpot update, just scroll down, you see the video there, right? So out of that option, we're going to be exploring this, right? So so the first one on my list, like I said, is in no particular order, but some I'm just going to be talking about how popular it is to you, like the ones that you guys like to go. The first one on my list is Canada. So Canada actually allows you to go with dependents. Like if you're applying for study visa, your dependents can actually go with you. But as I told you, I'm making this video, there's actually a new rule. You know, previously, you know, normal. If you want to go with your dependent, almost every country that I know of, for you to go with your dependent, it has to be master's level and above for you to come with your family, right? So previously in Canada, if you're going to study masters in Canada and you want to go with your spouse, you get close work permits, and then your spouse will get open work permits. In that way, your spouse can actually work full time. You work your normal 20 hours per week. That's how it used to be before. But now the rule has actually changed. So they can no longer apply for spousal work permits for your spouse. You know, before, how people used to do it is, okay, don't worry, me, I'll come and study, you go to work full time to support me. You understand? But now that's not even going to be possible. So the only it's not as if it's not going to be possible entirely. They actually restricted it to the number of people. Like, for you to be qualified for this, your master's degree has to be 16 months upwards. That's almost 2 years, 16 months upward. And we are almost immigrants. They actually like to opt for 1 year masters. Like, let them get on with it, because no man no see me. You know, masters, you understand? What am I 2 years late? But and the thing is, you know, if you are doing 2 years masters, for example, if 1 year master is 16,000 Canadian dollars, right? 2 year master or 16 year master, you are looking at it something. You understand? It's a lot of money, right? So for Canada to do spousal permit for your spouse, your masters has to be 16 months and above, or PhD, all those research programs upwards, 16 months masters and above, and this thing. So that's the condition for you to be able to move with your family. And like I said, most immigrants, they just want to work. Well, according to my experience in immigration, I realized that most immigrants, they just want to work, make money, and get permanent residency, citizenship, and that's all. So whatever you are talking about school is not their business. They want money, right? And PR. So, but the thing is, if there's any of your spouse, because the thing is, you know, we always have two people. When two people get married, we have one that is shapapa, we have one. If you see any couple that they are similar, you know that, it's not good or dream thing. So in every couple, you see one that is extrovert, you see that one that is introvert, you see one that likes to study, you see one that does not like to study. And you see the one that likes semi, like that. So if you're lucky to have your spouse that actually enjoy book, enjoy studying, right? So the person can actually go for the 2 year master. It's just 2 years, 16 months, right? Go to more, right? Because Canada actually has its own benefits. For example, if you guys have children and they are under 80 years and they attend public schools, that's free education for them. You don't have to pay any money. But then I'm not looking like another angle, that free education, yeah, right? That's correct. But then those of us that will study in Nigeria, because that free education in Canada, right, is for public secondary school, from 0 to secondary school, right? We that were studying in Nigeria, if you had all the money that I used to study from 0 to secondary school, me, should 1 million. But at that time, it's not like it's a lot of money. So, like I said, people's point of view is different. Me talking from my own point of view, anything that is going to make me sacrifice something, it has to be something that is worth it more, right? So if the only reason I tell children we have free education in Nigeria, gone that they are doing primary school, secondary school, how much are they paying? It's not as if the money is a lot. In as much as we have expensive secondary school in Nigeria or primary school in Nigeria, I'm not going to lie, but normal standard secondary school that you speak English, I speak English, unless you want your child to speak with accent. But then we've seen kids that there are actually some schools in Nigeria that your kids will attend primary school, secondary school, and they actually speak with accent. They have schools like that. So I say to immigrant that you see things that money can afford in Nigeria, it's not worth it sacrificing your everything to it. But assuming they said that when you come and do the 16 months masters or PhD, right, your kids will get free education to university level. And study with that one. Why tricky? But the man from discounts though with primary school and secondary school. So the thing is, if you can afford money for master's degree in Canada, 16,000 Canadian dollars per year, in this thing, Do you know how much is flight ticket from Nigeria to Canada? Some of you don't know. It's no. If you can, that money alone will pay your children's tuition fee. That's primary to secondary. That's KG to second. The school girl will even come and give you award. Thank you so much for. So, and some of you be like, oh, you know, Nigerian education system is this. About the educational this thing is. You'll be surprised that majority of the workforce of these top countries, they're actually Nigerians trained in Nigeria. Like, for example, in US, majority of doctors there, they are Nigerian trained doctors. Even if you go to Canada, the nurses, you see that they were Nigerian trained. They did their KG, primary, secondary, they did everything in Nigeria, right? So, in as much as, yeah, education outside be in the West can be like, oh, it's more, but it did not eradicate the fact that we are still in. Another thing about Nigeria is that there's a way they fast track. Like, I've heard some people that they finish university at the age of 19, and that's because before you know it, want to go primary school, before you know it, secondary school, double promotion, you know, cha. As long as you can pass your exam, Nigeria is just promoting you and be good. So everything has their pros. And then another thing again about kids studying outside the country is this moral value. I've seen a lot of, in fact, I've lost count. I've seen a lot of videos of parents saying, oh, I brought my kids back to Nigeria to come and learn, to come and have culture, you know, those type of things. So if you're going to say the only reason I'm moving outside the country is so that my kids can have free education, I'm asking free education for which level? I say because of primary and secondary school. If you can afford that masters, afford that flight ticket, your children, they are good at studying back in Nigeria, right? I remember one talking stage that I was telling the girl that look, I actually want my kids to actually study in Nigeria. See, there are some things that Nigeria, study in Nigeria, watch, in as much as Nigeria life can be like hard life, but you study in Nigeria, you growing up in Nigeria, there's some basic life skills, that will instill onto you. There's no way I get to outside the country and they'll be like, where are you from Nigeria? I say, I have no. Like, there's a way, see, for those of you that you've traveled out, you notice that there's a way that these foreigners, they perceive us, right? Even the dullest Nigerian, even the dumbest Nigeria, right? There's a way, that's why they used to dislike us easily, because there's a way that our presence even intimidates them. There's this horror that we carry. Like, it's just natural. That's why they say you can never see any Nigerian outside the country that is broke. There's this way that you're growing up in Nigeria, just give you that survival skills. Like, I have to survive, I have to be the best, I have to be this thing, right? I don't even know, there was one conversation I was having lately, and then I was asking the vice chancellor, like, have you ever seen a Nigerian fail before? Right? If you see a Nigerian that actually failed their course, that means that Nigerian actually was just focusing on work. I was not even doing academics, right? So there's this special trait that just comes with being a Nigerian, and trust me, people are really very jealous of that. I've heard so many people say, oh, you Nigerians are very, very aggressive in everything, aggressive to make it in life, aggressive to make it in clinical. You people, like, there's that special quality that abroad life or Western world life can not actually give you. The thing is, if even like a typical Nigerian, right? I've seen so many Nigerians that they are not very educated. But you see the way they speak, the way they carry themselves, you go to say they get PhD. There's just some trait like that. You understand what I'm saying? So in as much as we are saying travel about this thing, let's not try to westernize everything. Let's give accolades to what is due to Nigeria. In as much as Nigeria has its own frustration, I'm not gonna lie, but somehow I'm still grateful to God. I grew up in Nigeria. I learned all those basic things. You understand? Motivate, explain it. So the next on my list is Australia. You guys are just talking about Canada. Oh, before Australia, let's talk about US. So US is also another country that you can actually move with your family, and move with your family on study visa. So you apply for F1 visa, your spouse or your dependent, they will apply for F2 visa. But the problem in this one is, I'll just say for US, you can't go with your dependent because your dependent cannot work legally. US, you go to class and you get finish. They cannot work unless they do this under the table work, and if they catch you. So basically, I'll just be like, what's the essence? So you can go with your family in US, but your family cannot work. So next on my list is Australia. Everybody's just gyrating towards Canada. I'm like, guys, what are you talking about? Do you know one funny thing about immigrants is when you talk about countries like Australia and why you know constitution Australia, they'll be like, oh, it's too far. Wow, Australia is your own is distance. But you say UK is close. You know, it's easy to go from Nigeria to UK. Like, what's that thing that you forget in Nigeria that you just want to use flight and just go? Like, I don't understand. What I say is, as long as you anything that make you to take flight, like you've entered a plane like this, the place is far. So whether it's UK, whether it's Ghana, whether it's Cameroon, it's still far from home, right? In as much as when I do consultation from clients, their criteria is very funny to me. Very, very funny. Like, the only reason you rule out a whole country or a whole continent then is because of distance. That distance, what's in that distance they do for you? You're going with your family. Okay, let's say you're not even going with your... What exactly do you have that? Is it that when you book flights to go from Australia back to Nigeria, anything's gonna happen? Because the thing is, you see... UK is closer to Nigeria. You people have forgotten that for those of you that you even book flights from Nigeria to UK, right? So some flights, it will not even be direct flight. It will have stopover. For example, if you enter Qatar Airways, for example, if you're going from Nigeria to UK, you book Qatar Airways. You don't forget say you go get stopover for Qatar. Let's now say maybe Qatar now give you one stopover that is more than 12 hours. And then maybe you now book flight. To compare, depending on the flight that you book, you now see that duration to my day UK at Australia. So when you keep talking about distance, are you trekking there? For the penny. Right. So you guys, this is 2025, right? You guys have to just rearrange your priority. So distance is not even a criteria to actually consider priority. Unless you're talking about distance, or unless you're talking maybe it's marriage or distance. But if you're going with your family, kilo on distance in bear. So look at it now. The UK that is close to Nigeria, should be almost looking jail doing. Should be easy. UK now that is shocking people's eyes because people are, UK is close to this thing. Should be that's the UK now that have shocking people's eyes. So distance is never a criteria to check when you're looking at immigration, especially looking at something that is like long-term goal. Your only focus should be, is this place safe? Does it have what I want? Does it have finish only distance? I look at it, and the thing is, you people that say UK is closer to Nigeria, right? When you enter the airplane, after they've given you food, trust me, so all of us, a man soon long. The only time we used to wake up is maybe we want to go and pee or ask for water before you get sleep. And the thing is, most of this flight, they travel at night. So you will not even notice. But I understand that sometimes SMMA will but it's just a matter of before you know it, and the thing is, most of these headlines, they are very interesting movies, right? Like, yeah. I've had that more all those movies that I used to advertise on Instagram. I check everything even more. I was like, come on, see the because I'm enjoying my life. It's that night travel that even makes sense. But that afternoon, you go they feel and we see that night one that everywhere will be cool. You just use that movie like, why am I talking about distance? Distance is not a barrier. Anyways, the next on my list is New Zealand. So New Zealand and Australia is you understand, like New Zealand and Australia, same distance that to them, so you can actually go with your family as well. Next on my list is Germany. So one thing that people don't really like about Germany is because it's actually a language country, which I totally understand. It's understandable, right? But not entirely, no, because I've actually lived in a language country, right? And this thing, like I say, the one that speaks English, be nice showing you people shaking, right? Yeah. So Germany is also another country that you can actually move to with your kids. And next on my list is Ireland. Do people actually go to this country? Because instead of Ireland, people actually go to UK just like Ireland to me, just like was subdivided like Jakul Lagba UK. So Ireland is also another country that you can actually move with your family. All these countries that I'm mentioning, like I told you, is masters and above, right? Yeah. So next on my list is um France is also another country that you can actually move with your family, but the thing is you have to be there for 1 year. It's only after 1 year. But left to me, I don't know. Just talking from my own immigration point of view, I do not see anything like France. France is just like, I don't know. Me, like I said, from my own immigration point of view, France for family, I will not entirely recommend it. From my own that I said, my own point of view. I don't know, but if you are going, maybe let me go first. I'll come and take you. I'll go also. France, that's me. I'll recommend this. Let's say, for example, somebody wants to seek asylum. France is that country that I know that people used to get asylum seeking approval faster. Fastest. That's what me I see France from viewing it from this point. I don't really see it like a long time settlement thing like that. Just get what you want to get and to get it. Or France is that country that I first go here, then you know see France they sing, then from there you go country you won't go, and that kind of thing. That's how me I take Samsha. Next on my list is Netherlands. This happy country. Why are people not talking about it? But I think that actually scared people about Netherlands is because the tuition fee is very expensive. I'm not even going to lie. It's very expensive, but it's actually worth it. And Netherlands is actually an a language country, but then we have more people that actually speak the language. And the thing is, people of Netherlands, they are so welcoming. Yeah, they actually welcome me to make you feel at home and things like that. But the thing is, there are some professions that you cannot negotiate. You have to learn the language. For example, if you want to be a doctor, a nurse, if you want to say healthcare, you don't have any option. You have to study in their language, learn the language, all option. And majority of us, we don't like learning languages, right? Yeah. But there are some people that they do not mind, because look at the one that we not learn it. Because the thing is, all this English speaking country, because they see the desperation in us that, oh, don't worry, they want to learn language, so like, let's do them shaky, right? So they are doing them shaky. So you can be free, I'll be open to learn, a language. The next on my list is Sweden. I don't know, but it's talking about people are not talking about it. Sweden is also another country you can move to spouse, but something about Sweden is Sweden is expensive. Expensive for nothing. I'm like, Sweden, kilo shell ganga. Sweden is actually another very cool, chill country. Country where you never cast, but problem is language barrier and is very super expensive. Germany, they even have, you can study for free in their public universities, and Sweden only can come at a public, at a private, to charge you international fee. That's just the thing about Sweden. Next on my list is Denmark. I really love this country. I don't know, the only disadvantage about this country too is I was like, how can you sound this sweet? Imagine Denmark. How can you sound this sweet? And language, because the way this country sound, Denmark, right? It sounds like a country that should be 100% English. I've been 95% English. But the thing is, Denmark, everything is about language. So if you're going to study there, you have to study in Danish. Everything is just about language. But I have seen some English programs there. In my subsequent videos, I'll make videos about that. Just check my playlist. You see Denmark as a playlist. The next on my list is Spain. Spain is also another country that you should consider. So Spain is that country that is in another country that you can actually consider. Spain is that country that is in Europe. It's just like the medium budget. It's not that expensive. It's not that cheap. It's just chilling, right? I actually like Spain, but the thing is, most of those things you have to learn Spanish, right? That's it. But Spain is one very chilled country as well, and you can move with your family. And then another thing is, studying there is not that expensive. Like I said, it's just like Spain is the middle class of Europe. I'm not too expensive, I'm not too cheap, I'm just there. That's how Spain is. The next on my list is so this video is almost 30 minutes. Yeah, So if there's any country that you feel like I did not mention or I left out, make sure you leave it in the description box. I cannot wait to read from you. And I'm sure that my viewers as well cannot wait to read from you. So guys, this brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye for now.